people that voted for Trump, what is it that
Oh,
you wanted?
do not have them call in here
No,
today.
just I doubt that they will because they also lack courage.
They
They
always
cowards.
call in, Karen. I'm
They
like a
don't.
Trump caller magnet. I don't know how I've ever been
You are.
on
It's you.
without a
It's
Trump
you.
caller.
We only got one line open. So if you get through, just what did you want? Did you get what you wanted? Is this what you wanted? And did you watch Wicked? That's what I want. Did you get anything from Wicked, or were you on the side of the Wiz? I'm interested. The Flying Monkeys. What was your jams?
Experience Karen Hunter in a completely different way. Karen Hunter is awesome. The podcast.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. Check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed. Gonna save this for the second hour, as I mentioned, because I also watched this weekend Wicked. I refused to go see it in a movie theater. Refused. Primarily because it was sold out.
Yeah.
Sold out. But I'm like, I'm not going to see people singing because that's going to piss me off too. So I already know what triggers me. I'm not going to be in the theater with people next to me singing and then I'll have to go get the manager because I'm that person. And I just could see sometimes you got to avoid your own self, so I had to avoid my own self. But I said, all right, let me see what the hype is about. I'm not going to apologize for this. The hype is overrated. I will say that. I would have loved to see. I would have loved to have seen this on Broadway, and I love the nod to Adina. What's her name? Mazina Dazina. How did John Dazima she the nod to them, and it made me smile. But I know that on Broadway this would have been like next level. Mm-hmm. But did they have to sing every scene? Every single scene was singing. Every single scene. It seemed like, and then you had Michelle Yao out there singing. That ain't her. That's not her gift. And then she sing. And I was like, y'all just trying to make everybody sing. I was mad about it. But the plot, this is what I want to get to. I'm watching this and I'm saying to myself, everybody, y'all, 866-801-8255. I know there's a lot going on in the world. There's wars and rumors of war. We're going to get to that. They still going to be bombing people next hour. But I said Wicked grossed $733 million worldwide, almost $734 million domestically. It surpassed Mamma Mia internationally. Surpassed Mamma Mia is the highest grossing adaptation of a Broadway musical, period, of all time. It grossed almost $500 million in the United States. Mm-hmm. That did not elect Kamala Harris. So here's my question. And it's political. All the people that brought their children and themselves, and they got the at the end, and they all, cause they are holding hands and singing, and y'all just happy, and you're rooting for Bubba, whatever her name is,
Elphaba, right?
Beelzebub's, yeah, they rooting for her, the green, the glasses, all y'all happy. How did we get here? Tyler Merritt. How's this country so effed up with Wicked being one of the largest grossing films? Like, people went to see that and enjoyed it and came back to see it again. Explain this to me.
All right. Let me just say, if you ever wanted to have a conversation about this, you have the right guy. Okay, let's just start here in that I have all the answers to all of these things when you want to talk about musical theater. All right. First and foremost, let's go back to the musical Wicked is written by an individual by the name of Stephen Schwartz. Okay. He wrote Godspell. He wrote a show called Children of Eden. He has a handful of shows out there. He was already structured as like Sondheim light. Okay. When Wicked came out, we fell in love. They fell in love with the music. They fell in love with Kristen Chenoweth, who had already won a Tony for being in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. We loved her, and she came over to this role, and everybody who's ever been on stage pretty much is acting like her because she was so great in it. Then you had Idina Menzel, who theater people in the world loved in Rent, as she played Mimi in Rent. So they come over to this show that's about a story we all know, Wizard of Oz. And if you knew nothing about the show and you just sat in Wicked, it starts to become appealing to you because it's the story you know. But there's these background things that you're going, oh my gosh, this kind of makes sense. This could have made sense that this happens and this happens. And you have to remember too, this is only part one. So part two, for those of us who know the show already, puts together all the pieces. You start to figure out who everybody is and why, and it links you right on up. Now, let's say the movie never came out. The information I'm giving to you is just coming from a fan of theater. Now, if we want to talk politically, this is something that I will say about theater and I'll give a credit for. If you are a Republican or a Green Party or whatever, and you in any way care about the arts, singing, whatever, what I love about theater is you can walk into that theater, a Republican, and for 2.5 hours, we are all sitting in that theater watching the same thing, mesmerized by art that someone created, and who you are politically means nothing in that moment. Now, you might be offended, you might be bothered by some things you see on stage, but if you're writing just a really good, musical that's pop oriented with no whatever, even though some would say Wicked has a point to it, you're for 2.5 hours, you just are falling in love with music and words and dancing and singing. Then right when you walk out that door, you're back to being whoever you were. But for in that room, you're that.
No,
This show,
no.
well, I'm saying, as I sit in the theater and I'm watching Wicked and you're 4 down from me, I'm looking at Idina. I'm not looking at you. I don't know who you are, what you believe.
Correct.
But we're applauding
All right. I'm talking about this movie though.
But this is where it carries over though. It carries over because the movie hasn't even come out yet, and this show is already a huge hit. Wicked's been running for over a decade.
Correct.
Right? So it's already established. And then the movie comes out. So all those people, that decade full of people, come out and go to that movie, even though they've already seen the play 3 times or they've seen it on tour. We win those people, period. And that doesn't matter who you are. That's some kid who just loves songs.
I don't think you got my question.
Mm-hmm.
How can this movie be this popular with this theme being a black person who's green, who they have labeled wicked, who's actually the best human being in the play? Everyone gets to see it. We all see the Glinda character, and they're locking up animals in cages because they are the enemy. And they say you have to create hate. This is what the Wiz says, to keep power, because she recognizes you're doing all of these things. You have no real power. You need me, the black woman who is green, for your power. You need me to be powerful. I'm just saying that it's such an American where we are right now that anybody sitting watching that film, if you can get over the singing every other 5th sentence, there's going to be a song. If that's not you, but the message is the only reason why these people are powerful is because they have created a narrative of hate to otherize, in this case, animals, which is wild to me. Animals that can speak. You're going to put them in cages as babies. Check this out. You're going to put them in cages as babies to strip them of their ability to actually communicate and learn and think. And we're going to keep them in cages so they can be always subservient to us. I was like, 400 years of that. I'm talking. You're watching this and it's popular. And you're rooting at the end. You're doing the whole, she's going out the window. You singing right along, rooting for this green black woman who told him to his face, you need to create something to hate so that you can feel powerful. You have no power. You have no power.
Karen,
how do we get here?
I love you. I love you like a family member. But if you think the 50 million people that went into that theater are thinking about that musical that deep, you are wildly incorrect. And I'm going to tell you why.
Hold on. This is my question to everybody. Why aren't they? Why don't they see themselves? So this is, am I like, I'm sitting there like, it's right there. You are looking at yourself right now. All of the bullying of, you know what I'm saying? Not you, Tyler Merritt, but the people. I'm like, y'all you ain't spent $1,000, but y'all took your children to get a message that is, this is wrong. And then you show up in November and do this, and now you aren't standing up. And it's the silence. It's the silence, right? She was the only one to speak up against the horrific things that they were doing to these animals. And she's looking around like nobody else is gonna say anything. But now she's demonized. I'm sitting there like, oh my God.
You are right, and that is the brilliance of the show. But what I'm trying to tell you is, because art is relative and art is what it is, you use the word popular in what you just said. You said, and it's popular. One of the most popular songs in this show is a song called Popular, okay? And it's where, in this case, Ariana, she sings it over to, right. So that's one of the most popular songs. Amongst high school students, it's one of the most sang duets between women, men, all of that. What I'm telling you is what what John Chu ended up putting into that movie, and the depth that they pull from that, and all the things that Steven Schwartz came through. What I'm telling you is I saw it in the theater multiple times. I was telling my friends last night, because you texted me and said, have you seen Wicked? Everybody laughed when they were like, Karen asked you if you saw Wicked. Does she know you?
Listen, I'm not going to make no assumptions. I'm going to always ask.
Right. So I saw it in the theater multiple times, and I remember sitting there thinking similar to you, except for the fact that I've known this show for a decade, but watching these teenage girls, the thing that got me, I'm going to be honest with you, the thing that got me more than anything, and I know this isn't as deep, Cynthia Erivo is now a household name, okay? She's a household name, and women want to be her. They want to sound like her. Men want to be her and sound like her.
Pause. No.
What?
No.
What are you talking about?
No. You're wrong.
You are telling me that there are young people, singers, that went and saw Cynthia in this movie and did not walk out and aren't trying to do her runs, aren't now watching everything she's ever been in, aren't hoping she's... I'm not saying...
That part, you said they want to be her. They want to look like her, and they know they can't sing like her. They're like seminal voices. And
I didn't necessarily say want to look
you
like
said
her.
look like her. You did say that. That's when I paused you.
I'll say this. Even if I did say look like her, I will tell you now, I am watching high school girls now do their big old long nails with the 98,000 earrings and pulling off Cynthia Erivo. They ain't cutting their hair off, they ain't bald, but or
their eyebrows. Right.
Cynthia has an influence that because of this movie, but this is what my issue is. Cynthia's been huge to Black folks, at least in the theater community. She was killing in Color Purple. We haven't seen her in
Tyler, I think I'm not saying you out of touch. I'm saying that your touch is adjacent, not inside. And I'm gonna say I was on the airwaves when Cynthia Erivo was catching smoke for playing Harriet Tubman. And I'm saying like, what is happening here? And I'm fighting people because she actually did a very good job. Not as good as Aisha Hines, but very good. But I'm saying I don't get where we are. And this is why I brought this conversation up. Because I feel there's a couple of things. There's three things. I'm looking at that. I'm looking at the heavy Christian thing, with the Chosen, with David and Goliath. There's a whole Amazon series, number one. The Chosen's number one. They're doing a 3-part series on the Last Supper. I'm like, where are these people? Do they read their Bible? Like, I'm so confused that we're in a world that is so effed up. And no one's really, not no one, because we are. And at the same time, I'm preserving my peace. I'm letting it burn. But I'm like, this stuff got to make sense, right? The narratives around these immigrants and Black folk, and it's absolutely ridiculous when you look at, Black people are lazy, but you needed us to build a country. Oh, I don't trust Black people. I'm gonna lock the door. I'm gonna grab my pocketbook. But if you need somebody to take care of your children, you calling a Black person.
Sure.
Your mama's sick. Black person take care of your mama, but we can't be trusted. we're going to bring in Greenland because it's not really about the resources. It's about the white people and the South Africans that are the worst South Africans, the apartheid South Africans. Come on into this country where you can have a place in the United States because there's a very big anti-black, but you need us for everything, including you're not getting that from Adema Bazizas. She did it. She hit them notes, but she didn't hit them notes like Cynthia Erivo. Okay, to your point. Things just got to make sense to me, and I think I'm struggling today. I've been struggling for a while. I'm like, is logic? Do we not teach this anymore? Like,
I think it's a simple and justifiable argument to simply say, how can the same people that watch this same movie that is the biggest thing that has ever happened in the world watch the same thing that I watch with all the implications that are in it, with all of the things that are purposely written in it and the things that are so clear, but still watch this thing, feel this thing, continue to preach about this thing, but then go into a voting booth and act like they didn't just see the same shit. I think that's a justifiable argument. I think that's justifiable. But I also think that's giving people, especially not black people, an amount of credit that they don't necessarily deserve. I really feel that.
What's the credit? To be a human being, to be a thinking sentient? Like, this is the, like, so I'm giving them credit for being a human? And they don't deserve to have that credit?
What I'm saying is these are the same people that made the Saw movies, make 12 versions of Saw. All right, these are the same people. What I'm trying to say is they found a niche with Wicked that brought everybody into. It was the milkshake brings everybody into the yard. Everybody in that room.
Don't we feel happy there? Don't we feel joy there? Aren't we? We're getting to hold hands and don't we want this permanently? Isn't that what we all should want? Like, to eat, to have joy and to sing and
2.5 hours.
It is easy. You just had to go, not this orange felon. That's it. That's all you had to do. Was like, not this. I don't know Kamala Harris' background. I don't know whether she's black or not, but I know this guy for sure doesn't like people and has no humanity. You know what? I'm not going to vote for that. It's a simple thing.
If there is anything that we have learned over the past, years and years and years, but specifically in the past 8 years, is that especially Trump voters are going to see what it is that supports their narrative. I would argue.
What's their narrative? What is their narrative?
We are not the right people to answer that
question. Okay, so let's put it out. Let's put it out to the people. There's one line open. We're gonna take the calls when we come back. Y'all, the people that voted for Trump, what is it that you wanted?
Do not have them call in.
No, I doubt that they will, because they also lack courage.
They always cowards. Call in, Karen. They don't. Trump calling back in. I don't know how I've ever been.
You are. It's you. It's you. Caller. We only got one line open. So if you get through, just what did you want? Did you get what you wanted? Is this what you wanted? And did you watch Wicked? That's what I want. Did you get anything for Wicked, or were you on the side of the Wiz? I'm interested. The Flying Monkeys. What was your jam? Were you mad at F above? What's her name? F above?
Elphaba. And you know what? As hardcore as you know I am as a musical theater person, you all loosely saying whatever her name is.
I'm just playing with you, Tyler Merritt.
Experience Karen Hunter in a completely different way. Karen Hunter is awesome. The podcast.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me in Karen Hunter is Awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is Awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power, a 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. So check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.